have with us today Ms. Debjani Ghosh, Managing Director, South Asia, Intel Corporation. Thank you so much for joining us. What would be the expectation of Intel for the union budget?
I'm expecting a lot of changes to happen in it. You know, when you are around 139 on the list of how ease of doing business, your country number 139 in a list that has around 180 countries or something like that, if I'm not wrong, you know it's not fine. You know there's a big problem. And if the government doesn't fix that, it is going to be very difficult for companies to do more in this country, right? We need that fixed. I mean, one of the specifics area where I think we have to pay attention is India does not have any strong local manufacturers as far as the hardware sector is concerned. We used to have an HCL, Wipro, etc. They all decided that this business was not working out for them, manufacturing PCs and laptops, etc. And it's a shame because India needs its local manufacturers. If you have a strong local manufacturing base, that's the only time you'll be able to do the customization that's needed for the country and not for global users. And why are we not able to build that ecosystem? Some of the simple things that needs to be changed is inverted duties, where it makes it much more expensive to build in India than to import, right? We have to make these changes happen. We have to look at, if you're really serious about making the technology story a reality, we need local players. We need people who can manufacture the phones, who can manufacture the laptops, who can manufacture the desktops in this country. We need people who understand the needs of the consumer and are able to customize solutions so that they meet those needs. And you have to have an environment where it's profitable for them to do business. I mean, at least they need to survive. Well, I keep telling everyone this. I have a list of 4 specific asks from the budgets, right? I want to see a plan that makes the broadband story real, that gets broadband into every single village in India. Right? And time is running out. We need to make that happen, and we need to have a proper plan, because it's not just about putting the fiber, it's about the last mile. How will the broadband get into the homes? There has to be a plan for ensuring that every citizen knows how to use the technology. It's absolutely critical. So that the government cannot afford to ignore that. It has to be done. There has to be a plan to motivate industries to customize for the grassroots level in India, to invent for the grassroots. You have to make it easy for them to do business in India. It's absolutely critical. And fourth, you have to ensure that technology is treated as a mission mode project where it cuts across different groups and departments and really acts as an enabler in the development story. So I think those are my 4 big asks.
If you could tell us about Intel's public-private partnership.
We as an Intel launched it, came up with the idea around roughly a year back, a little more than a year back, because we've been talking about taking technology to the grassroots. One of the biggest obstacles in India is, even if you take the broadband and the hardware to the villages, they don't know what to do with it. To them it's like a luxury or a thing that they've seen in movies, and it's sort of nice to do, but it doesn't really affect me. I'm a farmer. What do I do with it, right? So we realized that one of the biggest challenges in India is lack of knowledge or lack of relevance with respect to technology. People just don't know how it makes a difference to their lives, right? So one of the things we decided that we as industry need to do is really get together and drive digital literacy to the grassroots. We have to show people how technology can help them, whether they are a farmer, a teacher, a student, a housewife, an entrepreneur. How can it help them do what they do? And at the end of the day, improve their ability to earn more or be more productive, right? So with that thought in mind, we launched something called National Digital Literacy Mission, and we invited a lot of different parties. It was open to pretty much everyone in the industry, whether in IT or not. We invited people to come join. We invited industry forums like NASSCOM to come join, and we also invited the government. So in the beginning, I think NASSCOM came together. Som Mittal, who was then the president of NASSCOM, has been sort of a champion behind this initiative. We came together, we pulled a few of our industry partners like Google, Microsoft, Lenovo, HP, they all came together. And we started working on this project. We created content that would make sense, that would weave in technology in ways that was relevant for lifestyles at the grassroots. We volunteered employee times to go and do trainings. So there was a lot of effort that started coming together. We created a portal which NASSCOM Foundation created and helped to put up. In the last 2 years, I think we've trained over 3 million citizens, and the citizens at grassroots. We adopted 3 villages where we went and trained 1 person in every single household. And then we went back and we studied the impact of it. And the impact was mind-blowing. The increase in the number of people who wanted to, after their training, come back and follow a formal education, follow up on their formal education process. The number of people who decided to use technology to improve their entrepreneurship, whatever they were doing, from tailors to pickle makers, it was just amazing, and actually increased their income. Created jobs. Number of people started getting jobs in rural BPOs, etc., because they were now technically skilled, right? So the impact was tremendous. And we took all of that and went back to the government and we said, this is what you can achieve if you actually start investing on making people digitally literate, right? It's true empowerment. And we were very, very pleased with the response we got. The Department of IT and Electronics decided to take that program forward and scale it. And and today we are working with them to scale this effort together with the government. So I think that's one of the best cases of PPP that comes to mind in recent times.
What has been Intel's corporate social responsibility? If you could tell us more about it.
Well, Intel CSR, the primary focus for our CSR efforts is education. Right. We believe that education is a basic foundation for development and growth, and a lot of our focus is on education, especially in increasing the interest, the capabilities, and the focus on science and technology education. It's a must-do for India. We work on training teachers, we work on training students, we work on training NGOs to take trainings forward. But that is really the primary focus that we have. Job one for us, for Intel, as far as India is concerned, and when I talk about Intel, I talk about, the market development part of Intel as I head sales and marketing of our business. Job one for us is really to grow technology consumption in India. Right? It's technology usage and consumption in India is so nascent. India, on that factor, India lags behind pretty much every country that's out there. And it's a shame. We should be a leading country as far as technology usage is concerned, especially given the focus on development in India. Technology and development goes hand in hand. They have to work together. And as far as Intel is concerned, my charter is to grow the technology consumption market in India. And I can only do that by making technology very relevant in this country at every level, right down the socioeconomic triangle. And to do that, the focus is really to drive the levels of customization that is needed to make technology easy for people, to drive awareness, to drive industry as well as government collaborations, so that we can all come together and solve this problem. But we have to make the technology story in India a real story. We have a lot of competition. Our number one competition is ourselves. We are constantly trying to innovate and do better than what we have done. we are paranoid. Andy Grove used to keep saying only the paranoid will survive, and that's sort of in our blood. We take our competition very seriously. We have a lot of respect for our competition. I think the world is completely changing as far as technology is concerned. The users are changing, the usage models are changing, the form factors are changing. So this industry is inventing itself every single day. The best way you can fall behind is by being complacent. So we will never be complacent. We are always on our toes. We are always looking out to figure out what we need to do to stay relevant and to stay ahead in the game. So we are extremely paranoid about staying relevant.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.